Hey, good morning. Welcome to our kitchen. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm actually trying to go live with my computer today, so we're going to do some corn today, and I thought I'd just invite you into the kitchen for this. And actually, I'm going to put the laptop down here. Just trying a little elevation, but let's come over here. We've got a couple things going here. We've got a pot of water that we're bringing to a boil. We have a pot to put our hot corn in once we blanch it. This bundt pan is really useful for shucking or for taking the kernels off the corn. And then we've got a bowl to put our corn in once we get it off the cob, right? And actually, let's get a plate under this. So to start, while our water's heating up, we're just going to start getting the peel off of this corn. Got a big trash can here next to me. And I'm not going to try to compost this. I don't really think that corn composts that well. So if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Most of the time when I do videos, I actually pre-record the video, edit it like for hours, and then I get it down to about 20 minutes so that y'all can see the whole process without taking up your whole day. But today I'm just actually inviting you into the kitchen so you can see every part of it, right? That's what we're doing. So this is some sweet Utah corn. And my dear friend Julie brought a whole bunch of this back. And we gave some to our neighbors. And we put some in the refrigerator. We're just going to have a little bit every night. But I want to go ahead and blanch and take the kernels off the cob and save some of this in the freezer for future use. I don't really know that canning is a good method for this corn because it'll get kind of yellowish looking. I mean, I know it's already yellow, but it'll get more dingy, right? We don't really want dingy corn. There we go. Let's get a couple of bad parts off here. This corn looks really good. So for now, while I'm waiting for my water to get hot, I'm just going to throw the corn in there. Had a lot of projects going this summer. Hope everybody's having a nice summer. Right now I've got some carrots fermenting. I've got some vinegar in the process. Got a whole bunch of seeds going. Some are going to go in our hydroponic stand. And then some of them are going to go into a winter garden. I'm still devising how I'm going to protect that stuff from the rabbits, the rats, and the quail. Even our little buddies, the quail, tend to get into stuff from time to time. I kind of made short work of all my cruciferous vegetables that I tried to start at the beginning of summer outside. So gave up on that pretty early on. But I do have some temporary type mini greenhouses. Kind of like a cold frame, right? And I think that's what I'm going to try to grow in this winter, because that way the critters won't be able to get in there and the plants will have some protection when our temperatures drop. It doesn't get that cold here, but we can get some 27, 26 degree weather. I mean, you never really know when that's going to happen. Usually January and February, but it's possible that if we had a cooler winter, it could happen in November, maybe December. Usually January and February. And it never really lasts for more than like 3 days. So you just have to cover your stuff long enough to protect it for the cold snap, right? So this is kind of a great growing location from that perspective for winter. Summertime's pretty challenging, especially with the heat we've had this year. I think our landscaping held up pretty well comparatively, walking around the neighborhood. This one's pretty tough. I guess that will have to do. This corn is so good. We had some last night. It's delicious. My husband, he actually just microwaved it. We were going to grill it, but you can microwave it 4 or 5 minutes and it turns out pretty great. And our water is almost ready, so that's fabulous. Started that just a little bit before we started the live stream. So this isn't that hard. It just takes a few minutes. Get yourself a big trash can, right? Looks like we're getting some comments here. Hey, Ron, thanks for joining in. Oh, you're 73 degrees today. That's awesome. It's going to heat up here a little bit today, low hundreds. But by this weekend, we're going to start having highs in the 90s. So that is really great, which tells me that my timing for starting my seedlings for a winter garden are right on time. Now, our squash is a little late, but if our weather holds, we'll be able to possibly get some squash out there. We had to restart our squash. And I'm just trimming any bad spots that I see. There's not too many of them. This corn is actually really fabulous. It's in great shape. I think anytime you can buy anything direct from a farmer, that's the way to go. And I have Norton giving me a notification here. We're just going to tell Norton to go away. Anybody else find Norton to be a little bit annoying? I mean, I practically need scam protection from Norton. But what you gonna do? Got to have some kind of virus software on your computer, right? Anyway, I love it when you can get something direct from the farmers. Our farmers really need our support. They are dealing with a lot out there. Wow. Norton's still trying to talk to me. Go away, Norton. There we go. As long as y'all can see, that's all that matters. It's nice to get connected to your food. It's a recommendation I have. Well, let's go ahead and put some of this corn in our pot. This water's boiling. We're just going to blanch it. We're going to blanch it for 11 minutes. See me throwing this in here. And I'll set a timer. There we go. And let's peel some more corn. I tried growing corn in Alaska, and all I managed to get was baby corn. And the corn stalks didn't break down at all. In fact, the moose wouldn't even eat them. So we're just going to throw this husk away because I don't think it's going to break in our compost either. Might take quite a while. To be honest, I haven't tried it, but I'm not going to waste my time with it. It'll be about the only garden scrap that I don't compost. I do have some tongs out. This corn's going to be really hot when we pull it out of that water. Let's just dunk it around a little bit. There's a couple that are a little closer to the top. We're not trying to cook it, we're just blanching it. This corn is beautiful. It's sweet Utah corn. It's a mixture of yellow and white kernels. Rid of all these strings. We don't need those. Corn silk. And don't cut yourself. Don't let your dogs get any corn cobs either. Corn cobs, very, very bad for dogs. If your dog gets a hold of a corn cob, you'll be taking it to the vet. Trust me. I haven't had that happen, but just don't do it. Let me know what you're putting up today. Anybody putting any food up out there today? It's about that harvest time of the year. Some people have probably been harvesting a while, depending on the climate where you're at. Something that we haven't done anything with yet that we have in the freezer is some ornamental purple plums. My friend Julie bought that back from Utah too. She actually grew those. And they have a cherry taste to them with the sour aftertaste. And I really like making chili sauce with those. I think my friend Julie makes some jelly with it. And I have made a sweet and sour sauce with it before, but my personal favorite is chili sauce. So at some point, we'll do a chili sauce video. But it's going to be a little while yet. Yeah, last time I did this with my friend Julie. It's pretty fun. Sometimes it's nice to have a partner to do your kitchen projects with, especially when they're big projects. Miss Meg had a walk today. For anybody that's wondering what happened to Meg, Mr. Painter took her out so that I could start getting ready for this project. Yeah, I had planned on starting that doll dress, but my friend surprised me with this corn. And you know how it goes. You can put sewing projects aside, but when you get fresh food, you've got to process that. We're about halfway through our blanching for the first batch on the 6-minute mark. Sorry, my computer wants to give me notifications. You should have seen me trying to turn the live on. You're going to find when you cook this corn, it smells so good. It makes the whole house smell good. Bad spot here. For the most part, this corn is in excellent shape. Some of them have a little bad spot on the tip that you just take and cut that off. Don't cut yourself. I almost did. We got a couple more notifications over here. Let's keep this process going. When you're doing a big project like this, you kind of want to clear your counter off, make room for it, right? Because I've got several big containers here that we're going to be using, or that we are using. Always make room for whatever project you're working on. About halfway through shucking this corn. It's a hand and arm workout for the day. I guess it doesn't matter if I can't get this base off because we're not going to be doing anything with that anyway. I have a little mushy spot right here I'm going to cut off though. There we go. I'll be sure to check out the comments here before we close out today. I see I have some. Thanks, Ron, for joining us. How many of y'all enjoyed watching Meg get her first bath? I was pretty happy to see that she tolerated that. I wasn't really sure how that was going to go. All right, we got about a minute and a half left for this first batch of corn, which is good because I'm running out of spot on my countertop here for this corn that we shucked. We just took and put all this corn in our sink. We had it in a big box, and I was going to have my husband just set the box on the countertop. But I thought, you know what? We're taking the husk off anyway. Just throw it in the sink, right? Make it a little easier. This corn is beautiful. It smells fabulous, too. I think living here, you can supplement your food with growing, but you definitely can't grow enough food. I mean, I think even if you had a big piece of property, you would be pretty limited just because you never know when you're going to get 5 days of 120 like we did this summer. That was pretty hard on the garden. All right, let's turn this off. Let's get this corn out. Timer off. Get our tongs. I've just got a big pot to put this in because this is hot, right? You don't want to just grab this corn with your hands. So it'll be able to cool a little bit before we touch it. Start the next process, which is getting the kernels off. Okay, got all the corn out. Go ahead and put some more in there. See how much we can fit in this pot. Quite a bit. Didn't do my biggest pot because it's a lot of water to get hot, but let's see. That's probably about right. Let's go ahead and set this timer for another 11 minutes. There we go. And keep shucking our corn. It's kind of how you do it when you're doing these processes. You just keep going, you keep moving. And this is not hard at all. It's a little time consuming, but not hard. The shucking actually goes pretty quickly. Now, granted, I'm only doing, let's see, probably 3 dozen because we gave a dozen to the neighbors and stuck a dozen in the refrigerator, right? So yeah, we're only really doing about 3 dozen. We don't have a whole lot of storage space in our freezer, so I wish this stuff canned better, but since I know it's going to change to a funky color if I can it, I'm not even going to bother. It's a little easier just to freeze it. We sure had a nice morning this morning. We sat out and watched the birds, enjoyed some coffee on the porch, and I actually had a long sleeve shirt on, just a lightweight one, for the first time in months. It's nice and comfortable. It's that great time of the year. When you live someplace where there's no humidity, 90 is very comfortable. Now, it wasn't 90 this morning, but 90 is awesome. You get 90-degree weather here, it is fabulous. Now, where I'm from in Alaska, where we have quite a bit of humidity, 90 is hot. If it's 90, you are cooking. Well, so far, this is our only funky-looking piece of corn. You can tell that not all the kernels got pollinated, right? Because there's some, see that? There's some that are missing that didn't develop, but it's still good corn. That's your bees. These little silky threads connect to all the kernels, and the bees have to do the work. I think sometime this coming weekend, we're going to make some corn chowder. This stuff makes the best chowder. It's so delicious. And a big part of that is getting the pearls out of the corn. One of the coolest things my friend Julie taught me was getting the pearls. So you get the kernels off, then you take a spoon and you just run it down the corn cob, and you get the little tiny pieces that are left on the cob out, and those are the pearls. That'll make your corn chowder super creamy, super good. For anybody who's never made corn chowder and would like to learn. If you're just now joining us, we are shucking our corn and blanching it. We're blanching it for 11 minutes. And as it blanches, we're transferring it into another large container to cool a little bit so we don't burn ourselves. And then we're going to get the kernels off. We're going to get the pearls off and prepare it for freezing. And if I remember correctly, it takes about 6 ears of corn for a batch of chowder, at least for the recipe I have. Check your own recipes. And some of them probably are in terms of cups of corn too, but I'm pretty sure I used 6 ears of corn in the chowder that I made 2 years ago that was so amazing. And it doesn't really take a whole lot of ingredients either, which is great. Super delicious too. Now, we don't eat corn all the time. I would say that for us, it's more of a seasonal treat. Okay, I have actually chucked all of my corn. And I didn't even totally fill up the trash can. That's excellent. Let's go ahead and start working on the next step here. While that corn's processing, just slide this a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. This is a bundt pan, right? And my friend Julie showed me that you can take your corn, you can either cram it in this way. You have this little tail on it because it didn't come off, you can do it this way. Actually, let me just rinse my knife off. Now we're going to get corn kernels off of the cob. And literally, you're just slicing it. Super easy. And the great thing about the bundt pan is it collects it, right? So it comes off the cob and just goes into the bundt pan. And these cobs are still a little bit warm, but they are manageable. So get as much of this off as you can with your knife. A little bit here at the top. Now we need a spoon. Make sure I didn't lose my mic connection. Okay. So we got the corn kernels off, right? See that? Now we're going to get the pearls. You're just going to go like this. This part gets a little bit messy. This will get the last of the corn off the cob. And that part's called the pearls. And that is what makes your chowder super wonderful. See how great this bundt pan is for this process? You don't have to have a bundt pan, but they don't cost that much, and it makes it so much easier. Highly recommend the bundt pan. All the way down to the bottom. Get all of it. See how easy that is? Next, and I have a plate under my bundt pan to catch any liquid that might come out from the bottom, because that's very likely to happen. Definitely make sure you blanch your corn before you do this, right? You want to stop the enzyme action. If you don't, your corn won't keep as well. Get freezer burned really fast. Because all that enzyme action will continue if you don't blanch it. Actually, let's flip this the other way now. You can get the end. A little hot. Don't burn yourself. Now, just because I'm doing 3 dozen doesn't mean you have to do 3 dozen. You could do a dozen, do however many you want. You could do a whole lot if you want. You got the freezer space and the time. You got access to cheap corn. This was only $7 for a dozen. I think it's on sale at Albertsons right now too. You don't have access to a farm. I'm guessing if the farmers are selling it in Utah to people that walk up, they're probably selling it to stores as well, right? All right, there we go. In the trash. Super easy. So from here, once this cools, you can, if you want, you can put it in plastic bags. You can put it in glass containers to freeze it. Just stick it in your freezer. I would use a consistent measurement so you know how much corn you have. You know, maybe 3 or 4 cups to a bag or to a container, depending on the size of your container. I'm probably going to use glass containers. I've been trying to get away from plastic. Don't really like having plastic in touch with my food. Sometimes you have no choice, but we're learning that plastic is not good, right? All right, let's turn that timer off. Get our corn out. And I'm going to move the corn we already did to the side because that's cooler. I'm not going to burn my hands on that corn. This corn smells wonderful, looks wonderful. From the farm to the table. That's the best way to do it. Let's see if we can get the last of our corn in our boiling water to blanch. I'm pushing it, but I think it's just going to work. Especially if I put a lid over it. Let's get a lid. Sorry for that noise there. Right, timer on. And that's pretty much the process. It's super easy. So let's take a look here. We have some comments. So Ron is joining us today. Ron is our #1 fan. He says harvest time is mid-August to mid-September. He's trying new potatoes in milk and butter today. It's a summer dish featuring fresh new potatoes cooked with peas or green beans served in creamy milk and butter sauce. That sounds delicious. And we have Zinjax saying hi. How you doing today, Zinjax? Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the content of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out, never actually ended a live stream from my computer before. So this might just take me a moment to figure out where the exit button is. Oh, here we go, in stream. There we go. Have a great day.